Welcome everybody to another edition of Dan's Grand Valley Railroad. Hey, this week I want to talk about, it's getting to be Christmas time already. I mean, wow, what happened to Halloween? That's gone. It's already the first week of November. We're going to change the clocks back this weekend, so people are starting to think about Christmas. And I wanted to talk a little bit about the Grand Valley layout and Christmas. I know a lot of people, are deciding to get into the hobby, and a lot of people are considering how to go and what to get and how to go about it. So the Grand Valley layout is really a cool thing for that purpose and getting into the hobby. So I want to go over several things that you need to know when you buy a Grand Valley layout. So we're going to have some of the really close friends of mine on YouTube here, and some of you subscribers who've chimed in why they got the Grand Valley layout and their reasoning, as well as my own. So with that being said, let's get to it. So if you want to be featured like this guy right here on fan featured photos, send me a picture of you wearing your Dan's Grand Valley hat, or holding your Dan's Grand Valley mug, or wearing your hoodie, or whatever it is, to dansgrandvalley@gmail.com, and you'll be featured here on fan featured photos. So over here on the bench, I've got my Christmas cars here that I'm getting ready to set up. Gonna do a little excursion train like I did last year. Got the gondola cars with the lighted Christmas trees. Haven't taken them out of the boxes yet, but that'll be coming up soon. These are the little passenger cars that neighbor Mike gave me. Again, we're gonna be using these, probably pulling it with the switcher again. Trying to think of how I could put some little Christmas lights on here and hide the batteries fairly easily. I don't want to take these apart, so something I'm considering anyway. Walmart, just so you guys know, Walmart has, if you go looking where they have all their Christmas lights and stuff, kind of on the back wall, it's where I usually find them. I go to a couple of different Walmarts, but kind of on the back wall, they've got where they have like accessories like hooks and fuses and bulbs. There's these little packages of colored lights, and they're battery operated, and they'll have either colored or they have clear, but they're real tiny, and if you bunch them up together, you can make them look pretty good for an HO scale layout. Let me see if I can find one of those packages. Yeah, so I found my packages. So here's what they look like. They're in these little clear packages with a little battery box in them. 3-function 18 LED ultra slim wire light set. Look at the price. I don't know what they are now. This was a couple years ago, but they can't be much more than that. Anyway, this is the way they come on a string. So what I mean by bunch them up, see how far apart they are, the little lights. Here's one right here. The next one is here. So they're kind of far apart. So what I mean by bunch them up, see, I rolled them up like this so that they would be close by and close to each other. And then I had these on my station. I featured these lights and stuff on my Merry Christmas, I think it was a Christmas Eve cab ride. I'll put that up here so you guys can check it out from a few years ago. Anyway, this has a multi-function control here. So you've got timer fading, steady on, flashing. So, I mean, this is kind of like real Christmas lights here, right? So there's steady on. There you can have them flashing. And then you've got, look at that, like a fade. That's interesting. I don't know if it's showing on the video that they're kind of flashing, but they don't do that to the eye. I think it's just having to do with the camera. They don't flicker like that. They just fade to the naked eye. But so that's kind of cool. There's a lot of different things you can do. That would look really neat on these little cars. The only problem is this is pretty big. I don't know what I would do with that. That would be kind of awkward. Anyway, just a neat idea for you guys. And then back to this guy here, I have done a little work on it. As I mentioned in my last video, I got some of the glass put in. You can see the reflection here on the back. I believe there is one, well, there's one on this side as well. If you can see the reflection, there we go. And then there's some glass up at the top. That one never came out. I thought it was secured in there pretty well, though it does have some lines on it. Almost looks like the glass is distressed or broken, which I'm probably okay with because this is going to be weathered pretty heavily. But yeah, I just cut some of the clear plastic sheet and glued them in there. I'm going to do some strips along here. I'm just going to do one continuous strip to cover all those windows on both sides. And then the hardest part will just be up in the cupola up there. That's hard to get those cut just right and get them placed in there, but that'll come along. And then I painted the handrails a silver color. Looks like I may have bled a little over on that one. Not a great job, but I am going to weather it pretty heavily, so I don't think that's going to matter much. My friend Donnie, he emailed me some facts about the UP cabooses of this era, and he said they didn't use these lights here for the red and green. They had a little box up here, either in the middle or on the side, and I know neighbor Mike has a DCC caboose that has the lights on it like that, and it's like Donnie said, they're stacked one on top of the other. So to be prototypical, that's probably what I'm going to have to do. But I'd like to find out what these little lights were for. These holder, they're obviously built into the body of the caboose. Wondering what those were for, if it was a different railroad that used those or something. So if anyone knows, drop me a line, dansgrandvalley @gmail.com. Let me know, because that's pretty cool. And I thank you, Donnie, for the information also. So back in around October 2018, I was deciding what kind of layout I wanted to do and how I wanted to proceed. I knew I wanted to do something. So I was at my local hobby shop, and they had these books. I think they were on clearance. But this one struck my eye as pretty cool. Atlas HO layouts for every space. Of course, this is from 2013. That's probably why they had them on clearance. But they have all these layouts in the book here. And what's cool about it is, just like with the instructions for the Grand Valley, they have sections and a list of all the parts you would need, plus a nice description of what it is. And if you're doing DC, all of the switching and everything you would need to do. Now, I didn't know anything about DCC back in those days, 2018. So I just didn't have a clue about that. I didn't find out until later on about DCC. I thought I was going to do a DC layout. So that's why I got this Atlas wiring book, because this has all those switches and regular controllers and everything, and it shows you how to wire up everything basically. But this is kind of moot once you get into DCC. So this kind of makes it seem very complicated for what it really is, although it does come in handy for all of the different switching that you have to do, and doing like reversing and loops and stuff like that. It really comes in handy. But I found it kind of confusing at the very beginning when I was deciding what I wanted to do. But this, I came across, I had this bookmarked, and I know this was the layout I wanted to do. It's called the out and back layout. And what I liked about it, I believe this is on a 4x12, so it's two 6-foot sections, 4x6 plywood. But what I like is it had a turntable and this yard here. So if you look, it's kind of very similar to the Grand Valley with the loop. There's an outside loop inside. There's no crossover. These are switches. But it's very similar in what I've done with mine and having a small yard in the front. This is actually better, and this is designed to come in off the main, and you have a full functioning yard here and a makeup track to where you can make up trains and then send them out onto the main. So I really like this one, and it had a whole list of all the track sections you would need and a description of everything. And then, of course, the DCC wiring. So this book was really cool. But, you know, as I started to think about this and think about everything that would be involved in building this from scratch, it got a little intimidating. So that's where the reasoning for getting the Grand Valley layout comes in. And I'm going to go over those points here very quickly. And I got some nice input from a lot of fellow YouTubers, as well as you guys that subscribe to me and watch the channel. Thank you so much for your input. I'm going to be sharing that today on this video. Okay, so for the purpose of this video today, I want to discuss, since it's getting to be Christmas time, and lots of people decide they want to get into the hobby around Christmas time. You have a big, long winter coming up. You might be housebound, or you're going to have more time on your hands to be indoors, and you want to get going with an HO layout, or N scale for that matter. And you've been looking at these kits, and you're trying to decide whether or not you want to do it. Now, towards the end of the video today, I'm going to give some of the reasons why me, my friends, and some of my subscribers have gone with the Grand Valley layout. But first, I want to talk about the things that you need to know if you decide to get into a Grand Valley layout. Now, I have talked a lot. If you look back at some of my videos over the last year, you'll see some top 7 reasons why you should get the Grand Valley layout. Top 5 things I changed about the Grand Valley layout. So I have a lot of stuff like that, but this is geared more towards somebody who is trying to decide if they want to buy the Grand Valley layout kit and get started with it, and things that you should be aware of. So with that being said, let's get started. Okay, so one of the first things you need to know is you're going to have to build some sort of a bench work, table. You're going to have a table of some sort, maybe an old ping pong table or a dining room table. You're going to have to build something like I did, or you're going to have to purchase something. Woodland Scenics does have tables that you can buy that are designed to go with their kits, and they're modular, so you can put them together. TV Toms, who is one of my subscribers and a good friend of mine, he did that. He bought those platforms and tables. He's very happy with them. We'll be hearing from him a little bit later on as to his reasons why he went with the Grand Valley. But just know you're going to have to come up with some sort of bench work to accommodate the kit. Now, it's 4x8, so it's 4 feet deep by 8 feet wide. So you'll have to have the space. You're going to have to figure out where you want it. But, the kit is just going to be this flat part, the styrofoam, basically the profiles, this stuff from here up. So obviously you're going to have to come up with some sort of table to support the whole thing. Now, also know that if you look back on some of my videos and you look at some of the people that I'm going to link to down below, like Copter Dude and Dave FR, Mark Swyatley, these guys have done modifications to the layout, which this is a great template. This kit can be modified. I added on to the front here, added about 8 inches overall, and made a little yard. So all of this stuff here that you see, and my engine house, little shop there, and all this, that does not come with the kit. So that's all add-on. Basically, when you build the kit, it's going to be from this point back to the back there, the mountain, and all of this that you see here. So just know that. One of the biggest things is it does not come with track. You do not get track with it. You have several options. You can use different types of track, different brands, as long as you can get the pieces that are required. Now I'm looking here at the instruction manual. Nice thing about this is on the back, they have a list of every piece that you need and how many of each that you need. And they lay it all out for you. So if you can get 1.5 inch straight pieces, 1 1/4 straight, 1 inch straight, 18-inch radiuses, 90-degree cross, 60-degree, all of this stuff in any brand, then you can use it on the Grand Valley layout. Some people have asked me if we can use Flex Track. Yes, if you want to go that route and use Flex Track, you can. Now, most people do what I did, and you buy the Atlas Track Pack, and it's all made for the Grand Valley, has every piece you need, including the bridge. That's the Warren Truss Bridge, and you have all the track that you need to build it. I'm sorry I don't have a picture of the box, but I was just doing some price comparisons today of the kit and everything, and the track pack runs about $125, which isn't bad because I think in 2018 I paid about $110 maybe. So it's only $125, but you get all the track that you need, which is really cool. So just be aware, if you buy the kit, you don't get the track with it. Now, with that being said, of things you don't get with the kit, you also don't get the buildings and the accessories. This is the Woodland Scenics City and Industry building set. This comes with all 15 of the buildings, and if you look here on the back, it shows them all there. Everything that comes with it, and you get a lot of little metal accessories. You get the docks, the loading docks, decals, and these are all kits that you build individually. So you're going to have 15 model kits when you buy this, and it's going to take some time to build them. So excuse me, you buy this kit, and now you have a whole lot of building to do and a lot of detailing to do to get to the point where you have buildings like these. Now, these aren't all of them because I've switched out. If you look back at some of my videos, I've changed some of the buildings. That's an appliance store that does not come with the kit. I've actually removed a few buildings to make room for that. But it, for the most part, comes with all these industry buildings, the downtown buildings, and the station. That little diner is something that I added later on. But know that you're going to have to buy that if you want it to be like the box shows, the cover of the box like this. If you want that, you're going to have to get this City and Industry set. And I was just looking at prices today. So as of today, November, I think it's the 4th or 5th. So the track pack's $125. City and Industry is running $250, and that's at train sets only. That's where I saw it today, just for, to document what prices are today, 2023, November. Track pack is $125. The Grand Valley's running about $489. I saw it at Model Train stuff. Of course, there's going to be shipping. You can sometimes catch them at hobby shops if you have one nearby. I know Hobby Town has them sometimes. They're a little bit more, but you wouldn't have to pay shipping. This is the instruction book that comes with the City and Industry, and you get all of the decals and the dry transfer decals and stuff, and it gives you suggestions of how the layout should be and where the buildings should go. All of them, they kind of have, you can see here, where they think each thing would be appropriate. Of course, you don't have to do that, but it's nice. Nice instructions. And then they also give you instructions on how to build the kits, the roofs, and all of the little accessories that come with the kit, which is really nice. I didn't do a lot of those accessories yet. I plan to down the line. But here, just so you guys can see it, is a list of everything that comes with the City and Industry set, which is pretty cool. It's really a lot for your money, for that kind of money. To buy all these separately would cost a lot more than that. So it is a very good value. Okay, with that being said, and this is pretty obvious, but obviously you know that the kit is not going to come with any trains, locomotives or cars or any rolling stock, anything like that. And it's also not going to come with any type of controller. Now this is a DCC controller. NCE Power Cab is a pretty popular one. And it is not going to come with any of that stuff. You can decide on how you want to do your trains. If you have old trains that you've had since you were a kid, that was part of my reasoning when I started this. I had old locomotives and cars and things that I wanted to run. I ended up not doing that, but I'll discuss that a little bit later. But you'll have to decide if you want to buy a train set, if you want to be DC or DCC. So there's a lot to decide about that, but obviously, yeah, you're not going to have a controller. You're not going to have the booster like I have or any of that stuff. And so you're going to have to decide. That's more money, and you're going to have to decide what you want to do as far as trains go. So then along with that, as you notice, I've got this building is lighted. I've got some accessories here. I've got a light on the platform for the station. The station is lighted. You can see lights in the industries. In fact, I will go ahead and kill the overhead lights here so you can see this in the evening. Let's see if I can get the plug out. There you go. So here's kind of what it looks like in the evening, dusk time. There are my lights. And then obviously you can see I've got some operating traffic signals. Those are all extra things that I put in. There's a controller underneath here that does all of that. You can see the lights. That's what's controlling the traffic signals. You can see all the wires and going to all the different wires and wiring and lighting that I have. And Woodland Scenics provides a nice solution. It's called Just Plug, like this. And these are lighting hubs. This is a lighting hub. That's an expansion hub. They have dimmers on them for each of the channels, so you can actually customize the light level for each of your buildings with little dimmers, which is really nice. But that's all extra. All of that wiring and stuff. Now, this isn't to intimidate anybody. It's just so that new people are aware of what you're getting into. And, you know, if you want it to look like this, that's what it's going to take. There, I've got little buildings up there. Those came with the kit, but I lighted them. And then also, Woodland Scenics sells they call them roomettes. But as you can see inside this building here, you see some interior in there, and you even see a little kid I've got sitting on the bed. Those are all little extras that you can do to decorate your buildings. This one is a store, and it's a jewelry store with an apartment above. And so they have interiors in them. And I have videos. If you go back, I'll put links in the description below. You'll see some of my videos where I actually install the lights and the roomettes in these buildings. You can see now this is a pre-made building, but you can see the TVs are flickering in there, and there's customers in there and stuff. I glued the customers in there, but that one came decorated with the stuff inside and the lights. That's a pre-made building. Woodland Scenics has a lot of those that are pre-lit, pre-painted, ready to go right on your layout. And then since we're talking about lighting, not only do you want good lighting in your buildings like I have, but you also want some good overhead shop lights that I went ahead and installed like this. So it gives you nice lighting for when you're working on stuff. You want to be able to see, and you don't want it to be too dim. So, you know, ideally if you're in a shop or if you're in, you know, basement like I am, you've got plenty of light, and that's important. You also want to have, like I have over here, a workspace where you can do your modeling. I kind of have it cluttered here with this city and industry set, but you've seen it before. I've got my cutting board here. I've got my tools, my X-Acto knives, and my brushes. By the way, this is a neat little brush organizer that you can get at Dollar Tree. No kidding, $1.25. It is super nice. So you can get a lot of your hobby supply stuff at places like that. It's pretty good. I have my paints up here, my glues, different things. This is my weathering powders, my tiny drill bits and helping hands and all that stuff right here, so that I've got a nice work area that is very close to the layout. In fact, it's just right here, so that I can work on everything and kind of be in my own little world. Okay, another thing you need to know, the actual building of the kit, and you'll see when you look at some of the links that I put down below, guys like Copter Dude 1, Mike, he documented everything from his build, and from laying down the basics to the risers and doing the plaster cloth, the building them out and everything. I unfortunately didn't start videoing until after I had it built. I do have a link below of the starting from scratch where you can see a lot of my still pictures, but there's a lot to it. So what I'm saying is, what you need to know is, it's not something you're going to get done in a week, maybe even 2. Depends on, of course, what kind of time you devote to it, and what kind of talent you have as far as building and doing hobby type intricate work. But it's going to take some time for you to build it. It's not going to be something that comes together really fast. It took me about 2 months to build it. That was working weekends and evenings. I mean, if you're retired and you can do 8 hours a day, you'd probably have it built in a week or 2. But there's also some things you have to be careful and be very precise. The instructions are pretty good, but they're not perfect. You have to be very careful how you lay out the track. Make sure your risers are all level, and that you know, you follow the instructions and you test your track, tear it down, build some more, test your track again. You don't want issues with your track, because once you close up the track inside the mountain, that's done. You want that to be flawless in there, so you're not having derailments and other issues, dead track or anything inside there that would be a problem later on. So you want to take your time and build it right. Okay, another thing you need to know, which I briefly touched on when we looked at the instructions and it talked about the track, this layout uses 18-inch curves, 18-inch radius curves. So that means you're going to be a bit limited on what kind of trains you can run on the layout. Now, I didn't know this at the time. I thought I could run much larger trains. A lot of my older trains are long passenger cars, and they just don't work too well on here. These tracks are too curved. They're too sharp. So the train cars tend to derail or come off or hit other things. We can get into some of the details of that later on. Some of the flaws of the kit, which Copter Dude talks about, I talk about in some of my previous videos, but there are some flaws that have to do with that. But know, if you're going to run trains on here, they're going to have to be pretty much like 4-axle F units, GP38s, GP40s, stuff like that. not the big giant SD units that are modern trains that we have now. They're not going to work on this small layout with the sharp curves. Also, there are inclines on this that are fairly steep inclines, so you can't run trains that are very long. Your locomotives will bog down and you'll have issues. That's a steep climb with a sharp turn and a steep incline. That's a big drag on a train. So know that going in. You're not going to be able to run every kind of train and locomotive that's out there on this small layout. You're going to have to be pretty particular. Some steam locomotives work great, some don't. Some of the smaller ones are fine, the larger ones obviously aren't. So really be aware of what you can and can't run on here, and don't be surprised if you can't run, what you're thinking you're going to be able to. Now, what's great about the kit is it comes basically with everything you need to do all of the terrain. You will need to make paper wads to build up your mountains. I used newspaper and newsprint that I bought from Amazon, but it comes with the rock molds, the plaster to make rocks. Comes with the tree kits that make trees like this. These are extra trees that I bought, although it came with plenty of trees that are this style that you glue together with armatures. But I preferred other kinds, so I used kind of a mixture. These are extra trees that I got at Hobby Lobby. I have them scattered throughout. Stuff like these stop signs are extras that I did. The little fire plug there, those are all extra things. But for the most part, it comes with everything you need to lay your roads, do your mountain. Comes with the City and Industry gives you the tunnels. Well, I can't remember. I think those might have come with the kit. Sorry about that. I think those came with the kit, definitely. But stuff like these plaster docks and the loading docks on those industries, those came in the City and Industry set. But yeah, it comes with everything, so you get the basic kit. Has all the glue, it has the road bed, it has the plaster cloth, the paint, and everything to get it like this, minus all the extras that we've done on there. But so for that, the value is amazing. So with that being said, I want to talk about some of the reasons why I and others decided to go with the Grand Valley kit. So for me, it was like I said earlier when I talked about the book, when I weighed the possibility of building something completely from scratch versus having a kit that had instructions and everything, I decided to go this way. Cost-wise, I think it was cheaper. And then just having everything and having step-by-step instructions. Now, I have published videos just, in the recent past of things that I would change about it if I could. If you go to Copter Dude 1, his channel, he made some major changes after having it built almost up this far. He tore it down and did some different things. One of those being eliminating this cross track here. Straightening out the curve coming and going from the bridge. But that's all sort of advanced stuff that I'm not really going to cover in this video. You're welcome to go back and look at my other ones. I'll have links for all those down in the description. But there are some flaws, like I said, to this. But for a beginner who has no idea, like me, where to go, it was a great purchase and a fun kit to build. I really had a lot of fun. If you like to build kits, follow instructions, and put things together, I highly recommend it. I think it's really, really a fun kit to build. So that was my plus, my pros versus cons for doing it. I knew I had to build a table and I would have to do all the wiring and stuff. But that was all really fun, and I knew that this would provide years of activity for me to do in the hobby. Stuff like building this guardrail. I just made that out of scraps. The kit does not come with a guardrail like that. I built that. And there's lots of things that you can do, upgrade, just a lot of things that you can continue to work on for years and years. So for me, that was a big selling point of this kit. Like I said, I'd do some things differently, but for the most part, I would do it over again. So for TV Tom's, he's one of my buddies, and if you have been watching any of my videos, you know he's working on some of my locomotives. He is a subscriber from way back, and we've been interacting since I started the channel. But for him, the reason he got the Grand Valley, he says it's because he wanted the limitations of a kit. So in other words, he wanted to know that it was 4x8 and it was this setup. Otherwise, he would have tended to overplan, overbuy, and create a huge layout in a limited space that he had. So for him, it was just nice to have a kit that you can build from beginning to end and know what you're going to come out with at the end. I can see that, me trying to plan and build from scratch, it might turn into a monster layout. And for him, he wanted to contain it. So that was his reasoning. And some other people that reached out to me with their answers. Rob G, who has been a faithful subscriber. Great guy. He emails me with questions when he comes up on something with the build that he needs a little help on. He emails me, and by the way, any of you feel free to email me at dansgrandvalley@gmail.com. I'll have it right here. But I'll be glad to answer any questions that I can. If I don't know the answer, I'll try to find it. But Rob says he liked the fact that it had pre-printed foam panels to help build the layout. So not only are the bottom panels printed with where the track goes and where all the tunnel portals go and where the mountain is, but also the sides here were pre-printed with a line that you could cut out here for the mountain and stuff. So that was his one of his things that he liked. He also liked that it has all of the grades with the foam risers are done for you. So what he means by that is when you try to figure out grades and risers on a layout that you're doing yourself, it can be pretty tricky. But Woodland Scenics has these pre-made risers that all glue together, and they're cut so that they form the curves and everything. And he liked the fact that the risers and the inclines were all done for you. And then most of all, he liked that it comes with the instructions, and it's also backed by several hobbyists like me and other people that he has seen on YouTube. So there's a lot of support out there. We have videos, you can find lots of building videos for the Grand Valley on YouTube, which is awesome. I mean, that's how I started. I looked at videos. I saw guys that were doing it and what they had done, and I shopped and I looked at those, and so there is a lot of that support out there. All right, and Dave FR, again, another YouTube channel. I'll have that down in the link or in the description. Dave FR says, when I got the bug to build a layout, I wanted mountains, water, city, tunnels, roads, trestles, and I wanted the theme to be approximate 1950s, appropriate for running F locomotives. I also wanted it fairly compact. He says, I searched the internet for ideas so I could start drawing up my own plans, but then I stumbled onto the Grand Valley layout. It had every feature I wanted. I also came to the conclusion that designing a layout was much more involved than I originally estimated, so I ordered the kit. And like he says, the Grand Valley isn't perfect, but it sure gives you a ton of scenic features in a modest footprint. So Dave, if you go to his channel, check out his videos, he did what has come to be known as the Grand Valley Plus. He actually added a third line around a third tunnel, and another line. He, I believe, eliminated the cross, but I can't remember at this point. But he's done a lot of modifications to it, which is another plus for this layout kit. You can modify the heck out of it because it's all foam and paper. If you decide you want to change something, you know, it's just a matter of cut it out with a razor blade and go ahead and put it back. It's, you know, you can do whatever you want. So that's another really good reason for getting the kit. And then Copter Dude, which I've mentioned just before a few moments ago, Copter Dude 1, again, link in the description. He basically said the kit is just a great place for beginners. It has a lot of everything that you want. Not everything, but a lot of it. And he's another one who's modifying it greatly and doing more of what he wants it to be. But again, same idea. You can modify it very easily. All right, so lastly, I have Bill S. from Loveland, Colorado. He wrote me back a real nice text here. And if you remember, just a few months ago, I have a video with he and his wife, Judy, who stopped by and so graciously let me interview him here at my layout. But Bill says the main reasons for me were the ease and lightweight qualities of the foam risers for supporting thin plywood. Also, I wasn't sure how I wanted to build mountains, tunnels, landscaping, etc. The Grand Valley layout included all the materials, adhesives, etc., plus detailed instructions and suggestions for modifying the layout to suit me. Of course, it didn't include track and buildings, but sells them separately specific to the layout, should you decide to use those kits. I guess the main thing is you really can't make any mistakes that you can't easily rectify. Additional materials are also readily available for the mods and additions. Therefore, I don't think I'll be looking for something to do with my time for years to come. So, yeah, kind of like what I just said, there's a lot to do here and a lot that you can keep doing and modifying. So, thank you guys, everybody who responded back to me. I know it was kind of last minute. I reached out this morning to a bunch of people, and thank you to everybody who got back to me. And if I didn't mention it this video, if you get back to me later today or tomorrow, no worries. I'm going to be talking about this now through Christmas. I'm going to have a few different videos regarding the Grand Valley layout for the newbies who are really looking into it for Christmas. So with that being said, that's it. All right, folks. Well, that's all we have time for this week. I hope I didn't go too long. There was a lot to talk about, but I thank you everybody who responded back to me with your ideas and reasons for buying the Grand Valley. And I hope that this video helps new people who are deciding whether or not to buy it. Overall, those of us who have are pretty happy with it, and I can't see where you would go wrong. Of course, you can always build your own and do it that way as well, but this is pretty cool for beginners. So thank you so much, everybody, for watching. We will be back within a few weeks and have some new material for you. Hopefully I'll have some Christmas stuff going, and I'm also going to just remind you I have a Christmas Eve cab ride video that is fun to watch. Thank you for watching my Halloween video. Sorry, I had to stop these trains or we're going to have a wreck. But thanks for watching the Halloween video. There is a couple of Christmas videos that you can watch as well. I don't think I'm going to have a new one this year, but I will be running the excursion train in the next coming videos. So again, if you have questions, comments, pictures, send me dansgrandvalley@gmail.com. Thank you, everybody. Have a great week. We'll see you next video.